Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, we tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
I'll ride with the horses, I'll swim through the sea, I'll climb to the mountain tops, won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see, and after I've come so far, you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. But life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world is a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, where all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. Our dreams last forever, for all that we know. The roads come together, and that's where we'll go.
The pompous
and elite wish we go away.
because we are
real and direct.
no interest owns us.
And we have no interest but the truth.
Together we are exposing.
Corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together.
We are fighting violence
Against women and children.
We here at
Candid.
will shine the light.
On every corner of darkness.
Together, we are giving a voice
To the voiceless.
and forgotten.
Together.
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 Together. We are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Candid News Group.
Buenas Marianas in Micronesia. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And welcome to our studios to Democratic senatorial candidate Frank Leon Guerrero.
How are you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course,
Thank
Johnny.
you.
You know, let's bring me out so the world, the people of Guam can know who I am, because I think what's his name brought it up. It says Chris Barnett says, "There's so many Frank Leon Guerreros in Guam. So which one are you?" So
Never mind him.
yeah.
Never mind
Anyway,
him. So here he is.
this is me.
He's running on the Democrat side of the ballot. It's Frank Leon Guerrero.
Number 5.
Number five on the ballot.
Thank you for joining us in our studios on the 7th floor of the DNA building in Hagåtña, Guam. It is Thursday, July 30. It is, 4 months till Christmas? 4 months till Christmas.
Okay.
Does it matter? Does it matter? Of course it matters. That's when Jesus was born.
Yeah.
Then no matter what 2020 was like.
Can we get through the election first, Cello?
Oh, shoot, that's right.
Okay.
You know, this will be the
But
very
it's still
first
Christmas.
election that I'm not involved in, like at all, as a political person.
Yeah,
I get
all
to
right.
be involved in it from the news.
Everything's going to be
side.
different this year. It's
Well-
like nothing's going to be the way it was.
We're hoping for
We're
that.
hoping for change. This is
Yes.
called Chalaquiles Coffee and Change. You're our first senatorial candidate to join us for Chalaquiles.
right.
Try it out. This is from 76
Okay.
Circle
All right.
K. Oh, you've been eating it?
No, not yet.
okay.
No, I'll get there.
Okay.
Okay.
And then because it's nighttime, it's not coffee. You wanted water. So we're having hot tea. This
And this tea is
which one this?
delicious.
They
I got
have
you
the
the
peach
black
one?
tea. No, nothing.
Are they out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, darn. So this
So-
is English breakfast black tea.
Yeah.
Have you tried the hot teas from 76?
Not yet.
You
But
you
I
should,
love
'cause they're
black
pretty good.
teas. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
pretty. Do you want
I
to
got
see?
I got honey bush caramel.
That sounds very weird.
That matches me. Yeah. Yeah.
Honey bush
Honey
caramel?
bush caramel.
How's bush spelled?
Bush, like bush. Nice bush.
Yeah, President Bush.
Like President.
I'm going to be nice.
So Frank, can I call you Frank?
Sure.
And,
that's
and
part of what-
apparently we're cousins or something.
Okay.
Yeah. My
Right.
cousin Shelly Gibson was telling me that
Yeah.
we're cousins. Is Shelly your cousin?
Yes.
Okay, so apparently we're cousins.
Yes.
Familian Esteban?
Esteban.
Stay bad.
Esteban. Sorry.
The Clavier. Stay
The
bad.
Clavier family. Yes.
The Clavier.
But this is the first time we're ever meeting, so we have no bias here at Candid toward you or against you, except that you're a new candidate.
Right.
And so we are biased toward new candidates. We want new candidates to present themselves to our audience. And we have a pretty big audience, and so, this is your opportunity to talk to them. And first, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself, your background,
All right.
qualifications.
I am of age, so I qualify at the minimum.
Oh, so you are over 25 years old.
I am of age. Let me start with my family first. My wife is here. I have two boys on the island. And my home has always been Guam. I was born and raised here. I was educated here on Guam. I started off in the private sector, but then went into the public school system.
Okay.
I graduated with, I was coming up with the John F. Kennedy group. I'm from Derrida.
Okay.
And, but I wanted to learn a living. I wanted to work early.
Okay.
I moved over to the Guam Voltec and I was studying electronics. And so it was
This is
pretty good.
GCC, right?
DCC
Okay.
now. So it was Voltec back then. So I learned electronics and learned to be an electronic technician. But changes as we grow up, go to school, something. So I went over to, after graduating from high school, and I went over to the University of Guam. I was actually studying to be a secondary school teacher in
Okay.
science and math and everything. People kind of look at me, science and math, those are the two worst subjects. But I said, hey, I love
Those are the two
science.
best subjects.
I love so
Yeah.
math,
two best
okay,
subjects.
stuff like that. But then again, I got into my senior year back in about 1974, but right around so I got out. I wanted to, in my senior year, it was student teaching, so I went up to Bishop.
Okay.
I was still teaching 7th grade, so a lot of people from Bishop actually remember me
Okay.
back in 19.
Were the Bishop kids back then naughty?
They weren't as naughty as us.
Oh, so it wasn't
I
until
was
the
bad.
80s that the Bishop kids
Yes.
were the
I don't
naughty
know.
kids?
They made me run. They made me run away though.
Oh, so they were
So
naughty.
you
They were
changed
naughty.
professions. Yeah, okay.
You know, it's a different system, I guess, in public school system because I was talking to the principals. I said, "What can I do to correct the students?" He says, "Nothing." That's okay. I'll be nice with them.
I'll tell you, Bishop and Notre Dame are the public schools of the Catholic schools.
Yes, I am from Bishop, so yeah.
And I went to Notre Dame.
Anyway, so 1976 was Typhoon Pamela.
Yes, okay.
Or something like that. So that stopped my teaching career. So Typhoon Pamela, we didn't even finish I was teaching 7th grade math and science at Bishop, but that stopped the school year early. So we went into typhoon mode, typhoon recovery. And then basically after a few months or something, we're still, Guam is devastated. We're still trying to survive, taking cold showers and everything else. But then I was watching the police department out there in the middle of the street, helping out, directing traffic, because everything was down, no traffic lights or something. So I started to take an interest in the police department.
Okay.
And I met some people that says there was an opening, and I said, sign me up. Where do I go? Because I wanted to be out there helping the people.
Okay,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is not so it wasn't from the perspective of the crime fighter, but from the help that the police were offering in the community and during typhoon recovery?
Yeah, all
That's
the thing was,
interesting.
it
Okay.
seems that people were coming in and says, we're doing this, we're doing that. It says, I want to be doing something. I mean, even back then, my mind said, I want to be doing something. I want to be helping the community instead of just staying home and just trying to recover or wait for the next school year, right? So I said, let me try this. So I came in. That was 1976. We went through a police academy. So I was there in Guam Police Department for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during that career, made it up to the ranks of sergeant, captain,
Oh, okay.
and I retired as a major in 2000.
Oh, wow. All
Yeah.
right.
So that was it. So that was my first retirement. And I said, okay, time to farm, fish. That's what we do. Well, that's what I do. And Islander boy and stuff like that. We grew up fishing. So I have a big story, anything on fishing.
Okay.
My dad raised us up teaching our little boys and stuff like that. We grew up with tunas bigger than us. Literally, I have photos of that. So,
Oh, cool,
you know,
cool.
the history. So we learn. So that's, I guess, just the closeness of the family. And we still fish. I still own a boat. And I still go fishing and everything. So we carried that tradition on. And we will carry it on. I'll teach people. You know, my dad taught a lot of people how to fish, taught us how to fish. So we can do that thing. It's good for the island. And then where we had
You retired from the police
You
force.
retired from the
police
police, and then
department.
you went into.
you know, the politics came to me more or less, or people came to me and said, "Hey, let's do some campaigning," and I said, that was fun, I guess. And so they brought us in, and you know, we stayed within the Dedadu groups and stuff like that. So campaigning, just there was absolutely nothing into politics or looking for a job or anything. I said, I'll help you.
Mhm.
And then that was it. The first, after my retirement, people were coming to me to work for them.
Okay.
And I'll go through the steps. Senator Frank Elgin was one of the first person to come to me and said, I like the way you work, because when we work together as a campaign, I get things set up, do the production, do it right, and push it. So he said, I like the way you work.
Mhm.
Didn't really know him. I said, okay, work for you. He found out that also that I was educated in budgeting.
Okay.
And so I was schooled in, I had some classes in budgeting, both at the Guam Police Department and at the FBI National Academy.
Oh,
I am also a graduate of the FBI National Academy in 1997.
okay.
Okay, so took it from there. The budgeting thing. I guess he was in charge of the budget aspect. It was a different name back then, and so I worked with him for a couple of years or so.
Okay.
Then, as you work through the government, you work alongside the congresswoman, Madeline Bordallo.
Okay.
Well, I think they were keeping an eye on me too, and they said, "We like you. Would you come like to come work for us?" So I said, "Okay."
So you worked for Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So it was a good relationship because Senator Frank Ogden back then was close to the congresswoman. So you kind of, when you have a good employee, you don't want to let him go. But when she was like a mentor for Senator Frank Ogden.
Okay.
And I said, "Okay, I'll let you have him." And so I went over to the congressman's office, and I was in charge of the constituent services. And you know what that means? It is that
It's every single phone call.
every single phone call. This is just like police work.
Okay.
Come inside. You got something in. take
You have to
take all
research
this
it,
thing.
you have to-
report,
Write you down, help you out. I was helping people. They ain't taking it down. He's like, "What can I do for you?" He says, "Yeah, I was in the military, but I have no history." I said, "Well, what did you do? Where's your paperwork?" That's where I learned about a DD 214, and that's the paperwork. Says, "Well, I can't get it here." Says, the power of the congressional office is very strong because we can actually call up the records. I think it's maybe on the, if I remember correctly, it was the Army's, their archive something. So they can pull out your DD 214. So just give me the information where you were at and drop it over there. It was a congressional request. So that kind of made it easy for everyone. So, so we actually brought the veterans up to speed on their history. Inside her office, we also established the Veterans Affairs Office. She had a Veterans Committee, so we helped the veterans. Am I okay with kind of?
You're good. This was around the time. This was during the Camacho administration, right? And this was around the time that they started to register veterans at the local Veterans Affairs Office, right? So that was
were there. Those were the things that we kind of started working. And so if I took a veteran and wanted to go to the Naval Hospital would say, "Well, we can't help you because we have no history of you. So how do we?"
And back then, Troy, because my father was that happened to him. The guys in the Army, when they got out, they didn't bring their paperwork. It's not like today where you carry all your medical records. You carry, you know that you're supposed to have those things. Back then, if they said you don't have any piece of paper to show that you were even in the Army, and there's no office to go to, so you would go to the congressman's office, because I had to take my father there. He had to write his thing, and so he was able to get his records of him being in Korea, so that's what the
So these were some of the things that you pioneered, actually.
Yes, we were actually there in that process. We had different people that were part of the veterans organization. We had men that we came over and helped. So that went on to town hall meetings, veterans and meetings, and how can we help you? So I was always with the congresswoman. I was actually the liaison between the congresswoman and the veterans office.
So then you're very familiar with community outreach then?
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Sure.
That's all right. That's a big part.
Yeah, so we met a lot of veterans and working out there, listen to the issues or something. So, again, it's getting them on record. So the veterans office, where you go inside, you got yourself a veterans card, and start working that thing. We needed to explain to them that you need to kind of like just go get a dental work or something, just to check your blood pressure or something, so establish your history.
Yeah.
Then everything becomes fluid. When you go up Naval Hospital and you get That's how you build up to get the full benefits
Yeah.
and everything. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had it.
Do you live in Diridó?
Yes.
Do you live somewhere along the Santa Barbara area or behind that area or something?
A long time ago.
A long time ago?
Yes.
Like back in 2006, maybe?
2006? Not yet. No,
No?
we already moved away.
Oh, okay, okay.
Wait, what's up?
No, I'm wondering, were you like the chief marshal or something of the district court marshals or something like that, or
No, that was later in my career.
that was later in your career?
Yeah. Well, in 2006, it was
When did you leave Madeline's office?
about 6, 7, 8, 9. 6. I think it was 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. Okay. Yes, left my 2006 because the judiciary of Guam came over to me and said, "We're looking for a chief marshal,
Okay.
marshal of the courts." And that's another story. They came again looking for me. I said, "Okay, well, you're gonna have to talk to my boss here, the congresswoman."
Okay.
And you know, the chief justice was Philip Carbolito. So again, another one of those blessings is they knew each other very well.
Okay.
The so
You didn't seek that job out?
No.
Well, actually,
None of
they
them.
kinda-
none of these political jobs you actually sought out. This
No.
was okay.
They
Okay.
came to me, looked for me, the legislature, the congressman. Now the local courts is looking for me because they know my history.
Okay.
They know my history as law enforcement. I was a trainer, and they wanted to upgrade their marshal's division. So I said, "Okay, we have a position over here." And it was a hard decision because at the time I was making a pretty good sum of money.
Okay.
What they offered me was far less than what I was making. Then I said, "Okay, why should I do this?" I said, "Because we needed to upgrade the marshal's division. We needed your training, and we needed to just a lot of things to upgrade the marshal division." I said, "Okay, there is a condition. I'll come over there to you, and but you have to let me run this show."
Okay.
And all that. That's it. And it was a hard decision. And for the family, I took a $20,000 loss to go from the congresswoman's office, because I was riding in the congresswoman's office salary with my retirement from Guam Police Department. So I took a $20,000 loss to go over to the judiciary of Guam. And the reason, then another blow to me was that I had to suspend my defined benefits retirement.
Before you go on, I wanted to read this. Attorney Peter Santos says, "Frank is a consummate professional and his integrity is beyond reproach. I worked with him firsthand for many years. You can trust him with your life."
I will back you up. Yes.
You know, Peter Santos,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
a pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah?
It's a pretty
Okay.
big deal. And we haven't always seen eye to eye with Peter on things that we've talked about. But I understand that if he gives a compliment, that it must be real because
So, yeah. So, Marshall's Division.
yeah.
So I said, if that's the condition, I'm going to take the loss, but leave me alone and let me work it. So I went
Okay.
over to the local courts and stuff like that. And I said, these guys were wearing T-shirts, jeans, right there, professionalism.
Oh.
It wasn't, the image was wrong.
They brought him there to clean it up.
No, it's not really cleaning. It's
Yes,
just-
that is
so
a cleanup.
you cleaned
Yes,
That's a cleanup.
you cleaned it
Let-
up.
House. Oh, okay.
There's so many. I mean, I'm sure we have the time to tell the story. It's like, here's the Marshall Division with them walking out in blue jeans, faded T-shirts, stuff like that. And says, you're in law enforcement. That image is not there. So anyway, let's fix that. Let's get you. Let me see a uniform. Uniform was like, okay, this is a uniform. Let's change this. So I want to make you look professional.
You weren't afraid that they were going to
retaliate?
Yeah. Or
Oh yes, of course.
okay.
No, they did it. They did not hear. That's a good story. Good question. You know why? because I was an outsider. And there were other people that were there, captains that were eligible for the position. So all of a sudden, who's this outsider coming in and so yes,
Okay.
I was, but I said, look, just let me do this.
So you navigated those politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bear with me. We're gonna make this better. Let's get better.
So
right?
I want to make it
How did you get them to like you then?
because, okay, not only did I change the image, I upgraded the security system. If you go over to the courts, everyone used to walk downstairs to the Marshal Division. They were all outside right off the Marshal Division's office. I said, no way. Lock the door, go back up to the entrance, put security locks in it, and nobody comes down here until we clear you. Because you're right in the heart of the Marshal's Division. You take out the Marshal's Division, the whole security
Or it goes
system
down.
is going
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Everyone's
and it
in
easily
danger,
compromised. So
you know?
if you walk over the court now, I actually put a camera with all the sensors and everything, with upgrade, did all of that. And multiple steps along the way. All right. So that's just the integrity of the structure. So I made an assessment doing that. But what about the people? Training, I'm a trainer. I said, what's your training? He says, well, Sergeant so-and-so trained me to do this. And where did Sergeant so-and-so get his training from? This is his former boss taught him how to do this. I said, so you're just passing information down? No. So I needed to certify these guys. So I worked in I identified who the good trainers was. They were actually interested in it. So I said, all right, you've got this training capabilities, desires, stuff like that. I'm going to make you a trainer. So I sent them to off-island institutions to be certified trainers.
So that started at your time then?
Yes.
So that they can, this is important. You said certified trainers, so that they can come back.
And
train
certify
everybody.
all of them. And, okay,
You know that's not very Gov Guam thing to do, right? You know the Gov Guam thing to do is to send all of the
Everybody.
employees off island
right.
and never bring a trainer back or never do the train the trainer thing, right?
There's so many things, Joy, that that went on over there. So I sent off the trainers, and when the trainers came back, well, you know what I did? I took every single deputy there, and I said, "You're going to training by these trainers." One of the guys, Frank Cruz, who's a deputy, later came up to me. Says, I think he said, "Sir, Chief, I've been here for like 15, 20 some years. The only training I ever received from the police was from the police academy. Never in his career was he trained. And so for me to choose all of them to go out to training, they were ecstatic. They were learning something.
Yeah.
So when we got to the shooting, that was another that was a big move. So I look at the budget. I look at the ammunition. Well, we changed all of the pistols and everything. That was, I think I walked into the exchange of the pistols. So we upgraded the pistol, all of brand new Glocks. All right. But I looked at their ammunition and I said, you're buying these hollow point bullets. I'll get the name in a little bit. I said, that is the most expensive ammunition that's being sold on the island or anywhere. It's very expensive. I said, I studied in the FBI, I studied ballistics. And you can do about the same kind of ballistic injury into a person with different kinds of ammunition at a much lower cost. So what my intent was to save them money. Let's buy a cheaper but high quality hollow core ammunition.
Okay.
So we're saving money there. Also, I changed the training method. The training method was, here's a box of 50. That's normally what happens. We're going to the range, we're going to qualify you. Normally, that is all you get. You know how much a box of 50 rounds of ammunition costs? I don't know, 15 up, at least $15 back then. Maybe more because they were the expensive, stuff like that.
You're buying the expensive bullet.
But here's my trainer back then. He said, was doing this thing. He said, okay, you didn't qualify on the first box of ammunition. Here's another box of ammunition. So why did you do that? Well, he didn't qualify in the first one. Okay. And if he didn't qualify the second time, what do?
Give him another box.
Give him another box. I said, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not, because I looked at their training qualifications. Their minimum, their passing score was 70. So if you made 70%, if you got in the scores and you made 70%, that was passing for them. I said, are you crazy? Can I say this?
Yeah.
I said, are you crazy? This is 70%. So you were saying that 30% of the time you're going to fail. I've got stray bullets.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, but that's not really 70% because they got 3 boxes.
Yes, they finally
Listen,
on the
right?
third box.
On the third box, so they have a 300%, right? Because it's 3 boxes. It's 100% per box. So that person really didn't pass.
Did not pass. He just got lucky. Kind of like, okay, ran through 150 rounds of ammunition and finally got good. But you know, it's the critical rounds here. As a trainer, the critical rounds are your first round, first maybe 3 rounds.
Okay, so let's finish off your background. So you were there at the local court,
Yes.
as the chief marshal, and then you retired from there.
Yes, I was able to do a retirement, and it was. So they were wondering, said, you weren't that long. So that was under the defined contribution, the DC plan, and to be eligible for retirement, they actually took my prior government service, put it together, and I satisfied the thing. So they gave me retirement.
Cool.
And it was good timing because that was the time that the U.S. Marshal position was opening.
What year was this?
About that for the U.S. Marshal?
Yeah, that you were nominated for U.S. Marshal.
2010. 2010.
Did Governor Felix Camacho write a letter to recommend you?
Someone
It was
did.
the Congresswoman Madeline Berdalio because she is the senior. I think the party at the time were under, I want to say, President Barack Obama. So that's the way the system worked. So the governor could be a Republican, but because the sitting president, or that's the party at the White House, so the congresswoman, it defaults to her to make the nomination.
This is how I remember your name, and that you're from Dededo. Is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is for Chief Marshal at the U.S. District Court, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe I drafted the letter for Governor Camacho to sign
Okay.
to recommend you.
Okay.
Well, in support of your
Okay.
nomination.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is how I remember your name and that you were a U.S. Marshal. I just didn't remember
Okay.
the year or anything like that.
Right.
And I also remember that you lived in Dededo. And I may have, during an election, knocked on your door
Okay.
to ask you to vote for Felix Camacho during
Okay.
canvassing.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
I what I remember is a porch with lots of plants. Do you guys plant a lot?
Yes,
or something?
that's me. I love to play.
So I went to your house and I've talked to you before.
Yeah.
All right. Now, why do you want to be a senator?
Why do I want to be a senator? Fast forward to being a senator. I just retired for the 3rd time, so I was able to get a federal retirement with the U.S. government.
And
The
you
US
also have a
Marshal.
government of Guam retirement.
So my 3rd retirement was to the federal government, and that was October of last year. So I said, okay, this time I'm going farming and going fishing again. And so COVID came in and locked me in home and stuff like that. And all of these things were piling up, the COVID crisis, the economic crisis and stuff like that. So I said, okay, I'm at home. I want to take care of my family. I'm going to take care of my dad and take care of my wife. Take care of just the family. We're going to stay here, shelter in place. And I was ready to take care of them.
Were you bored out of your mind?
Oh no, I'm always busy.
She says yes. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm looking for something to do. So why the senatorial thing? I didn't really consider it, and here's my the God honest truth. I've always told myself I never want to be a senator because I don't want to lie to people. And I don't know whether that's good.
Well,
I don't want to
that's-
lie to people
Okay.
because, and that's the reason why I didn't want to be a senator. So if I'm going to be up for a senator, I want to commit myself. And that's me. When I commit to something, it's like, if I'm going to work with helping the government, I want to get and work with public safety. For some reason, they don't like public safety. I'm going to love public safety because that's a foundation that you need to establish to keep everything stabilized, keep everybody safe, do all the things you need to do, and make it in a controlled environment.
Are you afraid that being a senator requires a certain level of lying?
Lying? I hope not. I hope not, because I will challenge that. I am the person that will challenge the lies, the untruthfulness of the people. That is my nature. I will question. It's just when I went again to think, why are we doing this?
You know that it happens a lot, right?
Yes, of course. And that's why I didn't want to be a senator.
Okay.
But several people, including Madam Speaker and several other people, came up to me. We need you. Because they know how I work.
Okay.
My ethics are good and clean. I've been cleared all the way to the Senate, the House, the Senate, by the president.
The
You know,
FBI had to
the
investigate you.
FBI,
Yeah.
I'm
Had to-
clean.
what do they
over-
call it? They had to vet you, right?
Yes, it takes over a year just to vet you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, so I had top secret clearance. I said, squeaky clean.
I could never get a top secret clearance.
Oh, you know,
I
so
wouldn't
like,
even
those are the
try.
kind of things. So I said, come over. So they know my working style. I said, okay, Guam needs me. And that was the only reason that I'm going to leave my family. Guam needs you. And these are the things you got to work together, because we need your knowledge, your expertise, your drive to get into.
To clean house, because reality, we need a clean house.
Okay,
Yes.
I don't want to say that word, but
Yes, we need
Go
to
ahead,
clean
go ahead.
house.
You can even say the word corruption these days. It's the trendy thing these days.
And you know, because us here at Kandit, we advocate for people, people in poverty, women and children that are being neglected or sexually abused, right? And Guam, we do have a culture of you're not supposed to talk about those things, or you know
Right,
what I mean.
right.
So because if you do get elected, you are going to be the voice for people like me. I'm a
Oh, yeah.
recovering drug addict. There's a lot of people in poverty. There's a lot of things that need to be cleaned out.
We're going to ask you a bunch of questions on. So these are the topics that we're going to cover: political and police corruption, crimes against women and children. We're going to go into financial accountability and transparency, basically the asking the questions thing. Gambling, the Medical Malpractice Mandatory Arbitration Act, and more about your platform. But first, we're going to cover a couple of stories. You're more than welcome to join us in discussing these stories, or you can just sit back and pay attention to whatever it is. And it'll be short, then we'll get right back to asking you these questions. But first, Gain has some animals that need some love. We'll start with, what's your first picture you got up there? And then I'll read. That's Starlight. Starlight has enjoyed her first 5 months of life so much, and it has made her the sweetest kitty cat out there. Sunbathing and cuddling are her favorite pastimes, and hopes to spend the rest of her many months doing those things with her favorite people. Meet Starlight today. Then there's Leonidas. Yes, just like the warrior, Leonidas. It might be impossible for a kitten to be more handsome than Leonidas. I swear to God, I did not write this. This is straight from Gaines' website. I would never write these things. At just 3 months old, this little guy already has all the tools to steal your heart. Make him a part of your forever family today.
Yeah, Troy did not write this.
I'm gonna kill myself from.
Okay,
from the,
then there's China. China's a pup. This sweet girl has all the love to give. With 3 months of life under her belt, she has developed a love for playing, romping with her friends and nibbling on snacks. She hopes to meet her humans super soon. And guys, I need to cover my eyes because the last time Troy tricked me. And I'm not adopting any more animals.
China's cute though. She's super cute. And the last
Russet. Russet's an older dog. Cutie Patootie Russet is a sweet 1-year-old girl who does well with other puppers. Is potty trained and has been at the shelter for nearly 6 months.
Oh no.
She is such a deserving girl and hopes to find her new forever family soon. Meet her today at game.
Okay, guys, this is really important. Someone needs to adopt Russet because as soon as the
6 months
pound,
is up?
No, as soon as the pound fills up, she'll be on the chopping block. So someone needs to go and adopt Russet, please.
And she's potty trained, so yeah, get her.
And she's super cute, and she looks like she'll chomp on a thief's foot. You know what I'm saying?
And as Uncle Rudy Matanani said, pretty soon the dogs are going to be telling the people what to do.
Do you guys have dogs or cats?
Yes.
You do? How many?
Where we at? We
Yes, 6? Nice.
So,
I love
Mr.
you.
Leon Guerrero is also an animal lover, guys.
You're an animal
We've
lover?
got chickens, we've got rabbits, we've got turtles.
You have
we've got fish.
rabbits?
Yes.
I love
We have a
that
zoo in
so
our
much.
house. You know, actually,
I have a zoo in
we
my house.
here's the thing. We used to travel to Bali, Indonesia a lot. So I built myself a pond, kind of like in that design of the Balinese thing with the flowers,
Beautiful,
and
yeah.
the fish
Nice.
and everything. So I have my own 400-gallon.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. All right, all right.
Fish.
Well, to adopt any of these animals or any of the others that are over at the animal facility in Jigo, contact, pardon me, contact GAIN at 653-GAIN. I don't know what that is in numbers, but 653-GAIN.
Gain weight for Troy.
Thanks. There is news from the Port Authority. This is good news, so we should never be accused of never having good news, never reporting good news. Roy Respicio, the Port Executive Manager, reported to the board that despite the pandemic, port finances are doing remarkably well. He addressed board members during their monthly meeting and informed them that the overall spending year-to-date, actual versus budget, for FY20 is only 10% less, or $3.7 million in year-to-date cost avoidances. This means that despite the slight dip in revenues and cargo throughput amounting to $1.5 million lower than year-to-date revenue projections, the overall spending of 10% less actual versus budget, or $3.7 million, puts the port in a stable financial position. That was a mouthful. Meanwhile, overtime was down by 22%. Wow. Or $22,000 as compared to May of last year. Also, the expenses by the port that are reimbursable by the tariff is $2.6 million, or a $57,000 increase from the budget. And then they provide all these figures. We'll put this together in a story. Next is Will Castro he is the subject of controversy and investigation.
There's a couple of Guam people that are subject to investigation.
So he is the subject of controversy and investigation in the CNMI legislature, and it has to do with a receipt that Governor Ralph Torres turned in for reimbursement on January 30, 2019. The receipt was for a January 7, 2019 purchase of a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label Scotch. You like Johnny Walker? I love Johnny Walker Blue Label. It's good stuff. So it's valued at over $200. The purchase price was $189. Governor Al Torres apparently spends a lot of money at the Tea Galleria because he got a 10% discount. So it was $170.10. And on the bottom of the receipt, he wrote gift for Senator Will Castro. And they're friends. But even though they're friends, the governor doesn't know that Will is spelled with only one L and not... So he put 2 L's. Anyway, so he turns this in. He gets reimbursed for the cost. He says this was an official gift for Senator Will Castro.
And our laws here, anything above $30 needs to be reported.
So we reported this back on November 26th of last year, and we had a conversation with Senator Will Castro. He said, no, I did not receive that. Because we asked him, we said, did you report this as a gift that you received? He said, you know what, I didn't need to because I didn't receive that gift. So Congresswoman Tina Sablan over at the Commonwealth Legislature, she sends an email to Senator Will Castro and says, hey, what's up with this? And Senator Will Castro actually does respond. He says, hang on.
Like the fish.
Let me find it first. Sorry, it was a November 25 story that we did on Candid. By the way, everyone, Frank Leon Guerrero is a Candid newbie, just so you all know.
Yeah.
On July 3rd, Senator Will Castro writes back to Congresswoman Sablan and says, in January 2019, following the coordination of donated relief items to the CNMI as a result of Super Typhoon Yutu, I hosted a reception for volunteers and officials at my residence. This was not an official function. I've had a number of social functions before and after January, all of which were for the same purpose, to appreciate those who volunteered time, effort, and/or items to assist residents of the CNMI following the destruction of the Super Typhoon. As with all social gatherings at my house, food and drinks were donated and prepared by family and friends voluntarily. The events were after 5 p.m. As I recall, many in attendance, I think that's funny, he has to say, the events were after 5 p.m. It wasn't during government time. As I recall, many in attendance, some of whom are government officials, may have contributed. Governor Torres was in attendance. He and his guests contributed something to the event, either in the form of food or drinks. Whatever was brought by the governor, I assure you that it was not delivered to me as a personal gift.
So it's a catch-22.
It's a catch-22 because that ain't what Governor Raul Torres is saying on the official record. Governor Raul Torres is saying it was a gift. And if Governor Raul Torres is telling the truth, that means Senator Will Castro is in trouble with Guam's laws.
Yeah.
If
and
Senator
it makes him a liar.
And it makes Will Castro a liar, yes.
Right.
If Senator Will Castro is the one telling the truth, then Governor Raul Torres is in trouble with the laws of the Commonwealth.
Do you think the phone calls are like, Pari, why did you say you didn't? Hey, at least you should.
Yeah, it's up.
Inside joke. So only one of them can be telling the truth. Just, according to the laws of the truth.
Yeah. According to Kandit, there's his truth, her truth, and then the truth.
Yeah.
So there's 3 truths.
So only one of them can be telling the truth. And whoever is the other person is in a world of trouble. Mm-hmm. And this is now under investigation by the Commonwealth's Legislature Special Committee on the executive expenditures of the governor. But he is not the only Guam person, Johnny was saying. He ain't the only Guam person who's under investigation by the Commonwealth Legislature. So is International Royals owner Bic Sobti, who had a confirmation hearing today before the Guam Legislature because Governor Leon Guerrero appointed him to serve on the airport board. Mm-hmm. And so now it's the legislature's turn to do its due diligence and find out, is this a good fit? Are we going to confirm the appointment to the airport board? And actually, I went to testify because we're reporting all of this stuff about Bic Sobti's sale to the CNMI government of PPEs at highly marked up rates,
and they're a shirt company. They're
well, he did sell them 40,000 shirts.
Well, he did tell Tello this afternoon that he has an old business. That's not the new business.
He's been doing business he said in the region for 40 years. Not in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. There is absolutely no proof.
Well, if you've been doing business over there, you need to show us the paperwork.
If you've been doing business over there, you may want to contact your attorney because that means you haven't been paying taxes over there because the Department of Revenue and Taxation and the CNMI has no record of your business existing. So, Mr. Sobti, if I would be very careful with the words you choose these days. If you have been doing business in the CNMI, you may not want to tell people that because that means you haven't been paying taxes in the CNMI, and that's tax evasion. Well, anyway, let's hear me. It was a short testimony. I gave a short testimony. It's going to be followed by a question from Senator Tello Taidikwi, followed by Bic's answer. We want all of you to see this. Go ahead.
That's all the questions we have at this time. Now we'll move on with our next candidate, Mr. Gurvinder Bic Sobti. Hi, Bic.
Hi.
Do you have anyone testifying on your behalf?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Written, I think so, all written.
Okay. Please go ahead and
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry, Vic. We have someone here to give testimony on your appointment, and that is Mr. Troy Torres. And then after Mr. Torres, you may give testimony. Mr. Torres.
Buenas, Vice Speaker, Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee. Thank you for taking my testimony. My name is Troy Torres, and I ask that you accept my testimony in opposition to the confirmation of Bic Sobti to the Airport Board of Directors. It is my belief, based on Mr. Sobti's recent actions, that he will abuse his position as a member of the Airport Board of Directors to his personal benefit. The CNMI House of Representatives Special Committee investigating the use of pandemic federal funds by CNMI Governor Ralph Torres is pursuing the matter of a $2.58 million sale of supposed personal protective equipment, or PPE, by Mr. Sobti's company, International Royal, to the CNMI government. On the record so far in that committee is an invoice detailing his unbelievable markup of PPE at the height of panic in the CNMI for pandemic preparedness. CNMI legislators, on the record, have compared unit prices of products supposedly delivered to Saipan to the unit prices of the exact same products quoted by other companies at a 2/3 discount. Indeed, Mr. Sobti sold 250,000 generic face masks to the CNMI government for $3 a piece, and sold the same exact face mask to the Mayor's Council of Guam for $2 a piece. To put this into perspective, those face masks sell at a retail in Guam stores for 40 cents a piece. This is just one item entry on one invoice I decided to use as an example. There are $1.75 million in other sales at severely inflated prices in that one invoice alone. An egregious fact to consider, and which is under full consideration by the CNMI Legislature's Investigative Committee, which you can find in their proceedings, is that International Royal has never been and still is not a registered company in the CNMI. Another fact under consideration is that even on Guam, where the company is registered, it is a uniform clothing and tailor shop, not a medical supply company. The CNMI Legislature, and I would imagine the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is investigating how a uniform and tailor shop from Guam, whose owner has physically been on Guam during the contracting period, came to receive a $2.58 million sole source contract in the CNMI for medical supplies using federal funds. This matter is a monumental embarrassment for Guam, an indication of shameless disrespect by Mr. Sobti and by association the people of Guam to the struggling people of the Commonwealth, and more importantly showcases the extent Mr. Sobti will go to make a buck. Is that who we want on a governing board overseeing the expenditure of $100 million in contracts? Thank you for your time and kind consideration today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. Vic, you're welcome to proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Hafaday, Madam Chairperson, and members of this esteemed committee. I'm honored and privileged to be before you today from a confirmation hearing. I desire to continue my public service as a member of the Board of Directors for the AV1 International Airport Authority, Guam. I would like to convey my appreciation to Governor Lulinger and LT Joshua Tenorio for having the trust and confidence and reappointment. The last committee I've been with full speed with that. Cleaning contracts.
Okay, thank you very much. Minority Leader, Senator Tideway, you are recognized. Do you have any questions at this time?
Just Madam Chair, for the opportunity to speak. First, thank you for willing to serve the people of Guam. And, Bic, there's been some allegations toward you, and I want to be able to hear from you on any of those allegations, if they're true or not.
That's not true. I supplied to different islands. Anybody needs goods, I've been doing this from last 40 years. This is not my new business, and this is my old business. And I've been doing that from last 39 to 40 years.
So you don't think there's anything wrong with these allegations of price gouging or anything like that?
No, during those times, it was tough times, and I had to go source this. So everything, the shortage was so bad that we had to get these goods at a premium prices. And look at for example, the price for the gloves, the company prices have been gone up from $5 to $12 a box today because there's a shortage of gloves. And during that time, all these factories which we are buying and shipping stopped completely. So we had to bring everything from DHL or airlines, not by sea shipment, because we have to pay 3 times the price to bring these goods in.
So I guess my last question is, are you being investigated by the CNMI government at this time?
No, not to my knowledge.
You're not being investigated? Oh.
Not to my knowledge. They haven't.
Not to his knowledge.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's what you're saying, I'm kind of seeing the news lately, and your name is out there, so I think you're kind of... Sorry, go ahead, Vic.
They haven't called me yet.
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, for that opportunity. Thank you.
Someone had to go and catch Senator Tello-Tadekwe's eyes down the road where it rolled. It rolled down Marine Drive as Bic Sobti was lying through his teeth to her on the question, is the CNMI government investigating you? This has been a matter, this has been in the public realm for the past 3, maybe 4 days. Well, first, I just wanted to read. Gio Paredo said, "What a big move." On these invoices. So Eric was while that was playing. Eric said about Bic saying that this was during some tough times, and Eric said, "Yeah, tough times for the people who you marked up all of that stuff on." And Bic was saying that around this time they
had to pay premium prices.
They had to pay $12.95 per box. If you had to pay $12.95 per box, why did you sell the boxes for? Was it the boxes or what was it? But the markup was to $25. And then he said, there's shipping. And we couldn't use ships, so we had to use DHL. You had to DHL your 250,000 masks from Guam to Saipan. And anyway, why'd you have to do that when Saipan could have just purchased the masks on Saipan? And how come in your invoice there is no shipping cost to it? There's
a lot of discrepancies in the invoice.
But
a lot.
But on the lie, the bold-faced lie that he told the Guam legislature today, Congresswoman Sina Sablan responds.
Right.
She said, as a member of the special committee that is reviewing contracts and other expenditures related to the Commonwealth's COVID-19 response, I can confirm that the CNMI's contract with International Royal DBA Royal Bics is among the contracts under investigation and was scrutinized at length during oversight hearings in the legislature this week. I expect that scrutiny to continue as questions have yet to be answered and additional hearings will be conducted. She's not the only one who's disputing what Bic Sobti told the legislature today. Congressman Ed Probe says there are serious problems with that contract. No one seems to know how the quote for the contract came about, and the items listed don't even have details, lacking basic information like size or volume. How is it possible Royal Bics charged $22.95 for a box of nitrile gloves, while MedFarm charged about 1/3 the price at $8? Bic is under investigation, and the members of the Guam legislature need to take that seriously as they consider his confirmation. Now, Frank, we're not going to ask you about Bic because
or anybody personally.
It's not fair because you're not there right now on a specific situation. But let's start with political corruption, then we're going to get into the worst, the police corruption. Political corruption, well, let me ask you, do you think it exists on Guam? Political corruption?
Political corruption? I'm sure it does. I don't know enough about it. And just because I'm among the working class people, so with the politics, what goes in there, I am not too familiar with it. So
okay, so you haven't gotten your hands dirty in the political corruption. Okay,
yeah.
But could you commiserate with the rest of us who see it in front of our eyes? That how is it, like, for instance, the issue with the Pacific Star contract, as like being, but there's just something to that, or the things that happened in the previous administration with, and we won't go into any specifics. I won't make you uncomfortable with that, but I think there's a general consensus on this island that political corruption has been eroding our way of life. And is this important to you, and what do you want to do about that?
Well, one of the things I want to convey to the people is I have no business interests. I have no attachment. I owe nobody anything. And so I don't have to do any favors for anyone. I have always been in law enforcement, and my integrity is solid. And I expect to bring that integrity into the legislature. If I see something that's wrong, I will be very articulate, very vocal about the issue and challenge the issue. Does it affect my party? I will challenge my party.
Well, Captain Bonnie Suba just asked that. She just asked in the comments.
Okay.
Will you be willing to stand up to your own party if what your party is doing is wrong?
Oh, yes. I don't know whether it's significant, but when this election thing came up with the primary election, I said, why do we have to, and I was very vocal about it. So I stood with the few that it was, why do we, for the sake of voting or the issues that was not fair, why do you put fairness in front of the risk of the people here? You sacrifice them the exposure to COVID or anything out there just because of the primary election. And I don't know enough about the politics, but from what I understand, it's not, the primary election is not even required. Correct me if I'm wrong or something. We could have gone, I guess, just to the general election. That's the only thing that I understand is written in the laws.
I don't know too much about all the laws
stuff like that.
but-
So same here, but okay. So we're gonna go have the thing. I support that. We're gonna go have an election, and I just encourage everyone, the election commission, everyone that's involved, keep everybody safe and everything. So because that's the most important thing. We need to be.
Frank, let's say that let's just pretend that you have this bill. It's controversial. It is. We're just making it up, okay?
Okay.
You're going to increase the penalty for those found guilty of criminal sexual conduct. Let's just say, and you need one more vote. Let's just say this is the most important thing for you to do in that month or in that year that you're a senator, and you just need one more vote. And the governor calls you up and says, Frank, I'm going to give you Senator so-and-so's vote, but I need your vote on this bill.
I think I remember that in the legislature. that brings me back some memories of
What would you do?
caucus and stuff like that. I'm going to stand very firm on all that thing. Do I lose a vote? Maybe I'll lose the bill or something like that. But I need to stand for the people of Guam on what is right. What benefits, what takes care of them at home and something. It's not about the other issues. I don't know.
So the horse
what to
trading,
do.
you're not going to
No.
do horse trading. Okay.
Not if I know that this is in the best interest of the people of Guam. If I knew, I would not sacrifice.
Well, let's go to police corruption, because that's very, while public corruption is a big deal to us, police corruption is how we started. And it's because we were victims of police corruption. Go ahead.
David Lebowski's asking, many gave you jobs after you left law enforcement. Are you not beholden to them? Frank, he's asking because Madeline Berdalio, Frank Uggan, they gave you jobs. Are you beholden
No.
to any of them?
Absolutely not. I came in there to serve the people of Guam. I didn't come in there to serve them, all right? I came in there, all of those positions is about serving the people of Guam. If you go into the history and everything, it was taking care of the veterans in her office. It was taking care of the judicial process in the courts. It was taking care of the people, and we didn't finish that story. But in the end, all those people that were against me at the court, they were literally crying because I was leaving them.
Oh.
These were the people that challenged my presence over there. It's like, oh my God, we're going to lose you. I brought so much integrity into the local courts that the other law enforcement agencies who used to go to Guam Police Department for training were actually going to the Judicial Guam to get good training. And that was, we developed that training program in there, so the people were coming over to us. So we became recognized as a pretty sound training. We don't want to call it a training institute, but for law enforcement, it just brings up their
I've actually, I'm a little familiar with what you're talking about, yeah.
Do I owe anything to them? No.
Okay, cool.
That's my job. You gave me a mission. I took care of the mission. If the president gave me a mission, I'll take care of the mission. Do I owe him anything? No. It's a mission.
Because you did your work.
I did my work. I'm done.
Let's talk about police corruption.
Police corruption, yes.
We actually, this Kandit news group started because of police corruption, and because we were victims of police corruption. Now, we're not saying that we were innocent people.
Okay.
But we were victims of police corruption. You know, we've our fun days are over. So, the Mandania Drug Task Force.
Right.
At the time, thankfully Chief Ignacio disbanded them. He understood what was going on, but this started with actually a current senatorial candidate, J.I. Cruz. He was the chief of police at the time, and he had this. And we can speak about this in truth because we know about it personally.
Okay.
I worked at the governor's office at the time that the Mandania Task Force was created, so I understand all of what had happened. J.I. Cruz and Ray Tenorio used the Mandania Drug Task Force many times to their personal advantage.
Right.
And it became this, these are police officers who went absolutely rogue. And I understand that they are not representative of the everyday Guam police officer.
Right.
But they had extraordinary power.
Yes.
And
protection.
Members of the Guam Legislature in the 34th and the 35th Guam Legislature absolutely knew what was going on, and no one has ever called an oversight hearing about the Mandania Drug Task Force. If you see police corruption happening and the leadership not doing anything to address police corruption, what are you going to, even if you're a member of the minority, what are you going to do about it?
That's where my integrity, my belief in law enforcement will set in solid. There's nothing wrong with having task forces, okay? There's nothing where we have task forces in different areas.
Many of them have worked, like the Violent Street Crimes Task Force. Right?
Mm-hmm. We go out there, and Guam, we went out there, we went after the most violent fugitives, and we put them in prison. One thing we don't do is abuse people. If you broke the law, if you violated your conditions of release, we apprehended you, we brought you back into the system. You go answer to the judge. You don't need to answer to us. Okay, we just do standard police work, and that's the U.S. Marshal Service or any task force should do that thing. But if you use a task force to go bully people, I mean, when a simple phone call, Troy, could have done, it says, hey, your name came up over here. Would you like to come down to the police department so we can talk about this thing? But to send a whole team of tactical officers, I don't even want to call them SWAT. That's not the purpose of a SWAT team. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's a tactical operation. But when you send that many people up to a person's house or wherever they're at.
Into a person's home.
And to a person's home, and it just kind of, that's bullying. And what's our issue today? Why do we have the defund the police officers? Because they use that. They use the police, they use law enforcement to effectuate, to get some of the interests rolling out, the politicians, right?
So what would you, if you're a senator, whether you're the chairman of the Public Safety Committee or you're a minority member, What if you saw that happen while you're a senator? What would you do?
I'm gonna go. I guess it's called an oversight committee.
Okay.
And investigate why are you guys doing this.
So you'll be loud.
I will be. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't see that thing, and even right now, it irks me to have seen that thing. Even right now, so it's not wrong. I mean, it's not wrong to put together a task force to do something to enforce, but do it in the right way. And I think I made a comment on this before. Every criminal knows that when they get arrested or something, they committed a crime, so they expect to be arrested. But they don't expect to be abused, pushed around, and everything like that because it's just beyond police work, thing. And
Well, it's illegal.
yeah, I mean, why couldn't a simple phone call work your investigation? Let's build up the case, but to use the muscle. One of the things that made me laugh is that, we use masks. And I want to ask you this. We use masks or something. The mask is for the protection when we do breaching in houses and stuff like that. But but the task force was using the mask to cover their identity.
No, they thought they looked so cool. They looked so stupid.
Yeah, they're walking in.
I know what you're
The
talking
mission is over. They're walking you in with a mask. Why?
They look so dumb with those. What do they call those? Those scarves or whatever. They look like they were in the Taliban.
Well, at least we know that there's a problem.
Yes, I know that there's a problem.
I think
I would interject really hard.
Okay. All right. Crimes against women and children. We're seeing it more and more in the magistrates. Family violence, assault involving children.
Sexual assaults that happened when they were children, and now that they were threatened by the parent that assaulted them because of their connections to whatever ties with police officers. So we're seeing a lot them now that they're adults. They want to come out and let the world know what's happening to them, and they call the police department, they call the AG's office, and then it gets blocked. We're seeing a lot of that now.
Okay.
So are these issues a big deal to you? And if so, what are you going to do?
Well, the thing about it is it's education, Troy, and I'm really glad that the spouses, the children are coming out, because I believe that education is being pushed in the school. If something was wrong, you were touched wrong and all these things, whether it be another person, whether it be a relative, whether it be your parent or something like that, speak about it. So I think that is what's happening. People are actually coming out and speaking. So I will work with Department of Education. I would support their thing with it. It's just getting them educated and speaking out, talk about it. But then that's the first step. So we process them, do a good investigation, make your apprehension, and follow it through to the system. If it falls in the system, then we need to check that part where it fell apart.
Do you think that there needs to be that the law needs to prescribe harsher penalties, or do you want to leave it more up to the judge? What are your thoughts on that? For violent crimes against women and children to include sexual assault?
I don't know what the penalties are, and to say whether should we increase it, I don't have that information. Okay. And whether, unfortunately, no matter whether it's a violent crime or something, eventually they will come out. And most of the prison systems and stuff like that, okay, he's going to do 10, 15 years, but he'll be out. So crimes against persons, should we step it up? Perhaps, but I think maybe work in some other education, taking care, put them in other shelters or something, or just, it needs the community's effort, different agencies working together to see how we can help both the perpetrator, the victims, and educate their education. So,
what's your position on gambling?
I'm totally against it.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Oh.
I'm totally against it. I've been
even if they're paying 30% in taxes, are you still against it?
if the drug dealers pay 30% of their interest, are you going to allow them to keep
Drug deal?
distributing?
Of course not.
Wow.
What's the difference?
Wow. All right, that's a strong answer.
I mean, okay, let's up it. The drug dealers or distributors up it and say we'll give you $1 million or whatever, just any 50% of our profits and stuff like that. In the millions of dollars. We're only catching a few. But if we gave you that, is the government going to? No.
No.
The same thing with the.
How do you feel about recovering addicts or addicts wanting to change their life? They got into some trouble with the law, and how would you? Are you aware? No, I know you're aware because you've been on that side. You
Okay.
go catch the criminals. That right?
Yeah.
You've seen the families and how it affects the women, the children, the men that are addicted to drugs, whether it be ice, pills, whatever, alcohol.
Okay.
Are you open to finding programs and fixing the judiciary, fixing that part of
Yeah, you have to remember that, and I think you agree with me. Every addict or something like that was a good person once upon a time, or something like that, where they were gainfully employed, educators, all this other stuff. But when they, the pleasures of the addiction or something, when they get caught into it, it changes their personality and all this other stuff. So they did something wrong, you got caught, and you serve your time and everything. And if they went through the program of recovery, they are still good citizens. So would I get them back into the system? If you have a good experience or something, we live in an island. I don't have a replacement. It's that we live on an island. I'm not going to take you and replace you with someone else. I'm going to work with you. I work with people who says, okay, maybe I want, I know there'll be limitations or perhaps on some of the things that you do, but these are good working people.
Good.
And that encourages, to me, that encourages them to get back into the system. If they fail, let's work with other services to help you get back on track. But if you've made the decision, if we're good enough to say, look, I need my family, and I hear this a lot. I want to see my children. I want to see my wife. I want to stay clean. Help him along on that thing because he has a goal, but we have to help him, right? And if you help him know that, perhaps.
Thank you for the answer. I want to go back just real quick to make a comment about just a criticism, just to be fair here.
Okay.
When you said that you weren't aware of the penalties, the sentencing, and all that stuff for crimes involving sexual assault, violence against women and children. If I could just make a criticism between now and the election, you might want to brush up on what those are. So that,
Sure.
Because I think people will want to know that when they're voting for you to become a senator, that you're going to go in there with, ready on the first day.
Right.
And you're not expected to know everything.
Yes,
but,
and that's the point is that I don't know. I can come back and get that answer. But, it's kind of like, okay, where am I at today? I'm law enforcement. I put you up. Then it goes into the judges. It goes to the people in the judicial system. They work out how many, what determines, and it changes.
Yeah.
So
because
what happened
the senators
yesterday?
changed the law on sentencing.
Exactly. Well, it changes. So I want to get an accurate information before I say anything. And then,
if I'm not mistaken, it's in Title 8.
Okay.
And I can't remember what chapter it is, but it's in Title 8. Thank you for your answer on gambling. Now, we were talking about this before we started the show, the Medical Malpractice Mandatory Arbitration Act. So basically, this law was created in the 60s. It was challenged, removed from the books, and placed back onto the books in a slightly different form in the 1990s. It was written by doctors, and what it does is, let's say, Johnny is my daughter, And she went in for a surgery, and her surgery was botched because of malpractice, right? And so I want to sue the doctor. But before I can sue the doctor for malpractice, to hold the doctor accountable, the law requires me to go into arbitration with the doctor. But in order for me to go into arbitration with the doctor, the law says that I need to front the cost of the arbitration. And that starts at somewhere around $40,000. That's not even, once you're done with the entire arbitration.
That's a whole year's salary.
More than a year's salary. And it's upfront. It's upfront.
Right.
And so, even middle class people cannot afford that cash commitment.
Right.
You'd have to be like upper middle class to very rich in order to afford arbitration. So there's no due process. And understanding that the reason this law hasn't changed since the 1990s is because doctors, every single election cycle, are lining the pockets of politicians who make it in. So are you able to give us a bold statement on how you feel about this?
I'd like to go into that, because if it's a clear malpractice operation, it's like the person should be able to recover something or get into the court, get into the courts and stuff like that. Why should they front that thing? I mean, it's like any court case or something. Why should I pay $50,000 to go fight a traffic citation or something and this other stuff? You go in there and, Your Honor, this is what happened, okay, in the process or something.
So you're saying let the court decide? Bring it, if it's brought to court.
He's saying, why should he be the one to pay that?
To pay that
allow me to go to court and get what's
remove,
mine.
I don't know whether that doesn't, but remove that requirement, because it prevents me or a lot of other people from actually go forward with a lawsuit.
Oh, that was simple enough. You have no idea how hard it is to get an answer like that out of our current senators.
Really?
Most of the current senators have not answered that question. Yeah.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. But so thank you for answering that. I think Mr. Lebowski will very much appreciate that you answered the question directly. Thank you.
I think he votes here too.
Yeah, he votes here. He votes here. And he's here now.
Yeah.
Remember you had a question about poverty?
No, we touched upon it.
What about
he's going to be the voice for poverty? Yes, can I have it?
Yeah.
Can I have that?
So this is a treat.
So these are just they're not I didn't make it like personal questions. I just kind of I don't know how to explain it, but you get to choose one.
Okay.
And then I ask the question, and then
you
answer.
I thought I had to declare that in my.
No. No, it's not over $30. Okay. Okay. So guys, this is a question box.
Okay.
Mr. Leon Guerrero is gonna choose a question, and it's just
Okay.
I don't know if it's silly or I don't know, but I thought of this tonight. So you get to choose one, just one. Okay.
No peeking.
No,
I can read it.
No, I'm gonna read it.
You're gonna read
it.
Yeah. Okay. Are you sure?
Oh, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food?
Yeah.
Tomorrow barbecue.
Like what?
Like what?
I cook. So I love ribs, chicken, and just about anything local. My local Chamorro cuisine is, I think my wife and I, we can put together a spread.
I think I just heard an invitation.
Yeah.
And I know where your house is. So.
Oh, we can really crack up some really good. We have a back patio where a lot of people really enjoyed. We used to host fiestas and stuff like that. People really come over for the flavor of the food, because my wife is from the southern side, so they do it.
Oh, you're from the south?
Yes,
what village?
They do it.
What village?
God's country.
Oh, okay.
Full baby.
So they do it the old Chamorro way with the real hot peppers, with real lemon. My wife is very particular. It has to be calamansi, because that brings out the flavors. I mean, calamansi was introduced later on, but we're very particular about what type of food. And of course, as a fisherman, the hunter. So there's going to be minado, there's going to be fish, there's going to be sashimi, there's going to be kelaguen.
I really love deer. My favorite kelaguen. I don't like kelaguen. My favorite one is deer kelaguen, but I won't eat it because Bambi. You know, Bambi.
Well, I can make it where you won't even know.
He would always say, it's not Bambi, it's Bambi's cousin.
It's Bambi's cousin.
Bambi died a long time ago in the hands of her cousin.
Frank, so I've been in politics for a long time, and I've seen good people enter the legislature, only to be corrupted by its halls and the power and so this was a good interview, and you answered our questions directly, and that's always a good sign, because a lot of times politicians, even new politicians, they get it in their heads from whoever in politics, you have to answer a certain way. So thank you for being honest with your answers. Thank you for saying you didn't know where you didn't know. That's very much appreciated. Thank you for that very direct answer on gambling, on the medical malpractice thing, on police corruption. I noticed that you even leaned forward because you really wanted to talk about that.
Let's get the message too.
Please promise us that if you get in there, that the person you are in front of us here, to our audience, is
It's
same
going to be the same person that's going to walk out and stuff like that. Let me say this to people. Guam. Again, I committed to being a senator to bring my knowledge, my skills, my ability to help the people of Guam. That is my mission. That is my mission to do this thing. Again, my retirement, I am secure. My family is secure. I have no interest. I have no, like I said, outside influences. I don't need to satisfy anyone at all. So, would my decisions be influenced? I seriously doubt it, because I live and breathe my integrity. And people know that. People that work with me know that my integrity is solid. I make that decision. I've been into a lot of critical incidents, and the people of Guam trusted me. It's my mission. I'm here to serve the people of Guam and to take care of you through this difficult times. And that's why I step forward. I have no financial gain. I do not make any money going to the legislature. So there's no money there. Not for me.
Okay, I know this is your first time running, but you have to do the thing where you ask everyone to vote for you.
Okay, number 5. All I need is one vote from you. Thank you very much. And again, I think, and I honestly believe that there's people that really believe in me and feel that they have that confidence that I will take care of them. So, one vote. I'm number 5. We'll see you.
Oh, just because I'm curious, and please don't hold it against him, whoever's on the other side of this question, Trump or Biden?
I can't vote for them.
Come on, we're not going to accept that. If you
let me just
today,
say it's not the red hat guy.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for answering the question. Now, all the red hat people, don't hold it against him. Yeah. Honestly, we can't vote for. But that was just a fun question.
Yeah. I will save and help even the red cappers. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. For Candid News, I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And this is Frank Leon Girl.
Number 5.
Good night.
Good night.